Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be back here. It's been many years, as you know, 13 to be exact. Have very fond memories of 2006, and winning this tournament was really like a great celebration at the end of a really nice year, winning Grand Slam. And yeah, I just saw a picture of myself sitting in the press conference chair as a 19-year-old. You know, obviously so many things change in your career path and ups and downs, and here I am, unfortunately not competing in this event this year, but was happy to show up for the afternoon and be a part of a few sponsor engagements and see the fans after this as well.
Most important question maybe, how are you? How is your shoulder?
Yeah, actually, you know, earlier this year for a few months I felt quite good with the lead up on the grass. My shoulder felt well. I played quite a long match on the hard courts. It was in Canada, and that kind of hurt me for the next few weeks. I feel like I'm back on track now, but unfortunately, you get back on track, but then you have to get ready to play at a level that's ready to compete out on the court, and not just ready because your shoulder is healthy. So I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I need a little bit more time. I might play next week. I still haven't made that decision. I'm going to try to play a couple of sets in the upcoming days and see how the shoulder does, but not really in a rush. You know, my real main goal is to have a good, healthy off season, put in the work, and then play a good schedule. I think the tough thing this year was the starts and the stops and the inconsistency, and you know, while you're not competing, everyone else is, and you lose a little bit, and I just want to work my way into it next year and be healthy.
How would you, I mean, after you came back, you had to pause, as we know. When you came back, are you disappointed of how everything worked out since you came back? No final, no title, the quarterfinal French Open, I think, was your highlights, 2018?
I won a title.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't take that away from me.
Sorry. How would you judge since you came back?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you know, success is recognized in very different ways and from different perspectives, but of course the rankings, and even though I've never really been a numbers, no matter if I was top 10 or top 5 or number 1 in the world, it's never really been the lens through which I have seen my career. I've never played a large schedule during the year, even when I have been healthy. So my focus has always been the big events, the main tournaments. You know, the shoulder has been I guess a weak link in the body since many years. I mean, I had shoulder surgery when I was 21, had a few good years, then in the last couple of years struggled on and off, and this year it got pretty bad where, you know, I pretty much didn't play for most of the year. So, you know, these are the types of ups and downs an athlete goes through, and you have to, you know, as long as you have it in the mind to, you know, the motivation, and you inspire yourself to get better, and that you really love what you do, then I don't think there are any limits to what you can achieve.
Would you say the fire is the same as it has been like 15 years ago?
I think the fire, like the knowledge and the appreciation of what I do is certainly higher than, I think I'm much more aware of what it takes and how much I want it and how much the body has to go through in order to achieve a high level in an athlete's life and career span. Yeah.
What do you think about Kim coming back with 36 years, 3 kids?
I feel like this is a one-on-one interview.
Well, I'm sorry. That's
No, it's true. Okay, good. Oh God, I have so much respect for her. I mean, even when she was playing, I think she was like one of the most ambitious and athletic, you know, athletes on the court. And I think selfishly, I'm happy that she's doing that for herself in order to, you know, to motivate herself and work on herself, like spending the hours after having 3 children, you know, where so much of your life, I think, is dedicated to a completely different, you know, avenue, to go back to thinking, okay, now I'm going to work on my body, I'm going to work on myself, I'm going to work on my game. I think it's incredibly admirable.
So, someone else now?
Yeah, I have a question, Maria. I don't know if you can see me.
Yes, I can.
So women's tennis in Austria is, it could be better at the moment, I would say. But in general, do you see women's tennis in a good place at the moment?
Well, I think there are a lot of opportunities in women's tennis, and whichever country we go to, depending on the success rate, we always get very similar questions in a press conference. Okay, our level in the juniors or professionals is not good enough, but things don't happen overnight. It takes so much time to develop talent and skill and the infrastructure. It takes so many roads to come together into like a path of success, and that takes years. Having this event here is a pretty incredible step, because for people to drive in from a few hours away, maybe from the neighboring countries, from this country itself, and to see this type of level is completely different than maybe seeing it on TV. And we hope that the next day when these children wake up after seeing a match, after being inspired, they wake up and maybe they think a little bit differently than what they thought of the day before. And maybe not to become a number one in the world in tennis, but in something else that they do. I think the lessons that we learn in this sport can help you in so many other areas in life. Maybe?
Yes. If I was Maria Sharapova, I would ask myself, maybe in your situation, how many chances would I give myself? Are you already a little bit thinking about the end? How should it look like? Because I remember Roger Federer once said, and we all trust in Roger, that he told the truth. He doesn't have any clue how he will retire, how it will look like. It can happen tomorrow or maybe in 2 years. What are your thoughts on that big?
Yeah, I think I have a very similar thinking process to that. I've never in my career have had like a certain goal of how long I want to play for. To be honest, when I was young and probably playing this tournament as a 19-year-old girl, I didn't think that I would be still playing at 32 or maybe past 30. I don't know. At that time, it probably, when you think, 13 years, it's like crazy. I'm sure I would maybe have a family or something, but this is a big part of everyone's life, and it's very different to a male player than a female player. As if a woman knows to have a family, it takes a little bit of time, especially if she wants to come back. I've spoken about that openly, but that's not an interest of mine. I think once I begin that chapter, that will be a chapter that I will commit to and give my time to, and it's definitely something that I want to have, because my mom was very young when she had me, so I have a very good, very nice friendship with her, and I ultimately want to have that with my children as well. So I don't see myself coming back or playing again once I stop. So I want to give myself and my body, the best possible chance. And I'm certainly not going to create a parade for myself. I'm a pretty simple individual. I love the sport. I love what I do. I'm a huge competitor, but at the end of it, I'm also, I come home and this is like my favorite thing in the world, to be in a home environment. I'm also ambitious, so I have other goals and plans, and also as a tennis player. So to see the finish line, of course, I'm much closer to the finish line than I am to the beginning or to the middle of my career. But who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, you have a lot of other businesses going on, but do you see yourself a little bit in tennis in the future, or you could turn your back on it?
I don't think I could ever turn my back on it. I think the sport has brought me so much, and I still feel like I could also contribute to the sport in different ways. But, I don't see myself maybe being a commentator, or I don't see myself traveling, like a tournament schedule, but I don't know what the opportunities are. I have some ideas in my mind, but who knows if I will have those ideas and when I do decide to stop.
You spoke about all these start and stop situations, back and forth, the injuries. I can only imagine that it's getting more difficult after every stop to start again. What are there any doubts or?
Yeah, I have to say, the stops are difficult no matter what point in your career you are at. It was also difficult when I was a young girl and I had the shoulder surgery, and I felt like this should be the pinnacle of my career, and in the best possible shape. I've played some of the best tennis in my career so far as 21 and out for 9 months out of nowhere. And that's tough. You know, you're still a young girl, you still feel like you have many years to play and maybe you never play it again. And here I am still giving myself a chance. You know, you're down for a couple of days, but then, you know, you get back to your team, you get back on the court, and it's honestly like, sometimes it's as if like nothing happened, because the drive that you have and, you know, the people around you, they bring something out of you that maybe you won't get in another profession. And so and also like as a woman, it's a powerful feeling to feel like you're good and that you can improve at something at your profession. I think that's a very, you know, it's a good feeling.
Coming back to the situation of women's tennis, there are some people who say the huge personalities, the ones who dominate, they are missing at the moment. That's why it's a little bit boring. The others say that it's exciting that so many players, maybe all of the top 50, could even win the biggest titles. What is your opinion on that?
I think my opinion is that everyone will always have something to say, you know, no matter in what good position or tough position the tour or the men's or the women's tour is at, everyone will always have their own individual opinion. And I don't think as an athlete we can only do what's in our hands, right? I don't think we can ever influence other people's opinions, and I don't think that's really our job. So we work at our sport, we go out there, we have good days and sometimes we have bad days, and we try to have more good days than bad days. But it's really, really tough to influence or impact another person's feeling of where the tour is or how it is, and I think that's okay, you know, as long as we keep moving the level up and keep performing and playing great tennis. That's the only thing that's in our hands.
No more questions? No. Possible? Anybody?
It's possible.
I have a question.
Yes.
We've been following your holiday, I would say, on Instagram for 3 nights.
Oh, I wish I was on holiday. I'm so far from being on
You have an
holiday.
Italian coach now, you're
Yes.
based in Italy, and when you flew in, you said like, yeah, I'm now used to the Italian way.
Yes.
Yeah, but can you tell us about your little situation then in Italy?
Yeah.
I mean, you flew to the Givenchy show, and you were really into arts,
Yeah.
and you're into fashion.
Well, I try to. I mean, non-competing is difficult because it's just week and week and week, and you're putting in a lot of training and work. And so I try to, you know, structure some days where I can do things that are maybe outside of my comfort zone and outside of what I know very well. I think it keeps things interesting. And I have a new team that's based in Bordighera and working with Riccardo Piatti. So I've spent the last 3 weeks there, and as I said, we might play next week, we might not, but all of this work is just to try to get me in a good, strong position to start the next year in a good way.
And how hard is it for you always to decide, is my shoulder holding? Am I like saying, yes, I'm playing this tournament, and I have to withdraw, and am I disappointing my fans? Because we have seen you with thousands of fans. Seriously, it's like incredible. Like when we
I try. I mean, I think everyone knows when I enter the tournament and my name is in the draw, then I have every single intention of playing, and that's really been throughout the course of my career. And it is very difficult because the tournament needs to know if you're going to play, but sometimes 10 days before the tournament, you don't even know yourself. And unfortunately, I think all of us in a tournament, from the organizers to the players, know that's one of the toughest challenges to present to the fans is maybe there is a chance that the player that is on the poster is the player that is supposed to be coming can withdraw, even if she arrives here, practices. That's a chance. So there's no easy answer, but I guess maybe afternoons like this, where I can see the fans, like I will be in a few minutes, can help a little bit.
Yeah. How do you explain that you actually have that many fans? It's incredible. I mean, as a tennis you were far more.
Well, it means I'm really old.
Kind of entertaining. So much.
No, really, that's exactly what it means. I've just picked them up along the years, every year that I travel, but No, I honestly, in the last few years, I really recognize that the true definition of a fan. I think when you're young, I think you're a little naive about, oh yeah, I have a fan somewhere that I'll maybe never meet. But they wake up in the middle of the night, they will, stand in line to see you, they will fly to other parts of the world to see you from a ticket that they can afford on the very last row of the stadium. So these people are very special, definitely.
Maybe one more that the organizers would like to hear. Have you blocked off 2020 tournament, 30 years next year, Linz?
To come back. Well, this is certainly one of the reasons I came here this afternoon, because I would love to have a good long season and play here. Maybe Moscow, maybe not, and then hopefully the championships. But of course, you make a plan and then someone up above laughs at them, so.
You're still unbeaten here.
That's right.
So, any other questions?
Yeah, you told us that you saw your picture when you came in.
Yes.
Is there anything you would tell your younger self, or like any advice you would give your younger self, like back in the days when you could get back in time?
I don't know. I think when we're young, we always want everything to go smoothly and perfectly, and we always just envision victories, and you kind of just have to stop and laugh, because you play maybe, if you're healthy and everything's perfect, you play 19, 20, maybe more tournaments a year. Are you going to win 19, 20 tournaments a year? No. Are you going to win 4 Grand Slams in a row? If you're really, really darn good, yes. But the chances are smaller. So, you have to be realistic, and that you're going to lose. You're going to go through moments of of doubt, of losing matches, losing confidence, and that's all normal. It's all part of. It's really not what you did to lose, but really how you find yourself on the other side of it.
Are we done?
No, Maria, I missed the holiday smile.
Oh, the holiday smile. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Da müssen die Leute raus.
We're just doing one each, so we can get everybody in line.
Da müssen wir quasi so schnell, bis wir das präparieren. One by one. Nicht so, Sabrina, es muss schneller gehen.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We're just doing one, so we can get everybody in line, okay? Thank you very much. Just stand up, please. Thank you. Great.